Glenn Greenwald made the argument that I think at first January 6th was nothing. It was just a bunch of boomers walking around on a tour or something.
What's funny, actually, Sam, if you look at the day of January 6th, he had a tweet saying, how could this happen? And then he eventually pivoted to that, yeah, this is no big deal.
And I thought it was also something, and correct me if I'm wrong, about like the left is besmirching just regular working class people, that kind of thing. Maybe I'm wrong.
But he has a new theory on how it could happen. And unsurprising, because of his emotional, if not financial investments in some social media services like the 14 that he's involved with, and I imagine either invested in or gotten some type of royalties based upon his ability to bring people there.
So he's often on the press releases.
The answer is now the reason why they stormed the Capitol is, of course, because of the existing social media outlets.
Hold on one second.
Oh, here it is. Big tech censoring Greenwald again, trying to keep him from... Incidentally, I imagine he's going to be talking about this quite a bit, but I will highlight where I'm sure he will be going on Tucker Carlson to talk about Missouri trying to basically pass a law. I think it's just got to be signed by the governor, which bars pharmacists from saying that ivermectin does not work for COVID.
Here's the clip, by the way.
Everyone there's all kinds of studies about how, people talk a lot about, journalists love to talk about their death threats they get, online. And everybody knows that if you get, the people who are really planning on coming to kill you aren't the ones tweeting at you that they're going to do that, right? Like, being able to tweet that is like an outlet.
Right.
Just like people say watching pornography is an outlet and alleviates the desire to go rape. When you give people a channel to express themselves, to express their anger and their critique, and whether it's like QAnon, which I think happened to be more of like a kind of protest movement, we're saying things that we know are upsetting elites, and that's kind of part of why we're saying it. It became like a kind of identifier of dissent. Yes. When you crush it, you've now taken away the outlet, the peaceful outlet that people have. And when you tell them they can no longer use the internet to gather with like-minded people and exchange grievances and organize, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, exactly.
They have no other alternative but to engage in destabilizing and violent ends. And I think a lot of what we saw on January 6th was that notion that, well, we don't really have the democratic process or the basic civil liberties that we were taught as children we can expect by being in the United States. And so gathering together and protesting and storming things is the only option we have left.
All right, pause. This is, what he's doing there in that last sentence is amazing. What democratic processes were they denied? This is his like sort of elliptical way of saying the election may have been stolen.
Yep.
That's what he's doing there.
Yeah.
What democratic processes did these people have denied more so? And we're talking about like Q followers or Proud Boys or Oath Keepers or whatever these folks are. What democratic processes did they have denied? No more so than anybody else. We know for a fact that there has been voter disenfranchisement that has taken place all across the country. Those people who were targeted in that voter disenfranchisement, and we know this, black people, we've seen this has been talk about studies have been submitted to courts as to who gets disenfranchised. They did not storm capitals because of being denied the right to vote. What democratic process? And this whole thing where they couldn't what are you talking about?
Yes.
Parler existed? Like
I mean, I knew Gen 6 was
8chan.
coming because of social media.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole reason that it was 4chan and then it was 8chan. That's where these QAnon believers organized on. So I mean, like, what is his definition of QAnon? Can we just like get the exact quote on that? What did he call it? A protest
movement.
And most of the things they're saying, they're just saying so that they get the elites upset. Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
I mean,
But can I just make one point? Just recently in Brooklyn, there was a subway shooter, and guess what? He was posting all over social media all sorts of horrible things, and then he still went out and shot people. This is just it's so fatuous, the entire premise of this, that like it's crazy.
yeah. QAnon did have social media. They did have the ability to organize, and we saw what happened when they organized.
Yeah.
This was not in the absence of social media. It's like so inconvenient for them that Trump got banned from Twitter after January 6th, because like that is, you know, the timeline doesn't really fit right for what Glenn's trying to say there.
And when was Q crushed? I mean, outside of like, and they were crushed, I think, when they found out that none of the lies they believed in came true. But the way they were crushed, there was literally multiple networks dedicated to Q, right? Like, wasn't it One America Network and WorldNet Daily? I mean, these organizations were dedicated to Q. In fact, like, what was the crushing? When was Q crushed by anybody?
They just think moderation of social media is crushing, is totalitarian Stalinist crushing.
Yeah, and it prevents hate.
With a microphone and give them a microphone and let them be mocked, and so on one hand, it's just an outlet for people to send death threats to journalists, whatever. But on the other hand, the idea that people are mocking members of Q. Whoa, that's
totalitarian, right?
A violent assault on the Capitol building.
And frankly, it's a look what you made me do argument. It's like the way that abusers justify when they abuse somebody. It's like, well, you made me angry, and look what's going to happen if you take away our social media goodies. Even though we can organize on other platforms that just aren't, mainstream Twitter, etc. Then we might just do another January 6th and some more people might die.
Well, and let's just
go ahead.
Recall what Glenn's been doing this past week is saying, are you sure you want to support liberals? Are you sure you want to support people protesting in front of the houses of Supreme Court judges? So like it's interesting where his free speech fundamentalism stops. It's typically in line with what Republican imperatives are.
That conservative, like, look what you made me do, it ranges across the board. Christy Todd Whitman, I was on a program with her once, who said, like, the reason why conservatives deny climate change has nothing to do with the religious underpinnings of that belief, the fundamentalist underpinnings that man does not have the ability to impact nature, because that's God's realm, and certainly man doesn't have the ability to fix problems that it creates with nature, because that's God's realm. And no, it's not that. The reason why conservatives are so disbelieving of climate change is because liberals were so in your face about it.
Right.
And that's why they did it. And it's also, or Dave Rubin's. That's why I left the left, because they were so, this is just their technique. And
It's
Glenn
facile.
is using it in the context of justifying what he used to think was a non-attack on the Capitol, which now apparently has like some resonance, only because it's because of big tech. And
I saw this.
Use it for something else.
I saw this yesterday. This is a great tweet from Carl Behar. Greenwald has been horny for an anti-war GOP since like 2006, and he'll never forgive the left for it never happening. I mean,
Yes.
Exactly. And the last thing on the being able to tweet like that is an outlet, right? When you're sending death threats to other people. I mean, it's just like so ridiculous when you take 5 seconds to unpack it. Yeah, tweeting out death threats, it's like going to the spa. It's like going to the gym.
Getting acupuncture or
Right,
something.
it's some way to just get all that bad juju out. You have a long, stressful day. I don't know about you, but I send death threats. Other people go for a jog. Other people have a glass of wine. Yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, I personally, I like free speech. I'm not really interested in making sure social media is a place. Really interested in making sure social media is a place for racists to organize. FDR, back when radio was coming around, said he doesn't want that to be a medium for racial bigotry, promotion of racial bigotry. And so when like Father Coughlin and the state never actually standed up, officially acted in this, but the threat of government regulation made a bunch of industry folks sort of wind down Father Coughlin's anti-Semitism back in the 30s and 40s. So like, I do not think it's a good for free speech if we make it a goal that racists can organize on social media.
Typical elite, Matt.
I'll
Right.
take it.
Typical coastal elite. Or by the edge of a lake, elite.
Fargo elite. The lesson, gated community elite.